Hey, Jeff here from Flowforge Creations. I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on how to use the bushing with my Dragon Hubs and how to install that on any diameter staff that you have. In my hands here I have a 19 mil bushing, which is the one that we'll be using, but just for your comparison, here's a 22 mil. Depending on the staff you have when you pick your disc choice, I can send you the bushings that you need. I can also send you multiple in case you have multiple staffs. I'll show you the easy way first. Um, so there's a ridge on the bushing. A little hard to see on this camera, but it's kind of a triangle shape with something in the middle to help hold it inside the collar. And it lines up with the complementing ridge on the inside. If you take the bushing and you just put it in a little bit, just the tip, and rotate it around, you'll actually feel it lock into alignment. When it's there, push it down all the way so that it is flush, and then take your staff and slide it on. That's how you do it. The other way is to take the bushing, put it on first, and then insert that into the disc. I find it can be a little bit harder to do it like this. It's always handy, though, when you start out, to try the bushing on the staff and see how tight it is. Staffs have different manufacturing tolerances, and these bushings have some stretch. This 19 mil has some cushion. It's got some air on the inside, so it has some spring. The 22 mil doesn't have that because it's so thin. I'll show you what you can do with a 22 mil to try and, if you find it's a little tight on the staff, it's always helpful to put the bushing on just a bit. You don't have to slide it on all the way because sometimes, depending on how tight it is, it can be a little difficult to remove. In this case, because this is aluminum, it's actually very easy to twist and pull it off. It's always helpful to give it a try, see how tight it is, because you don't want this to be too tight on, say, a carbon fiber staff. On aluminum, it doesn't matter, but on carbon fiber, if it's too tight and you misalign these ridges with the inside of this disc, it can create too much compression, and that might cause you an issue, and we don't want to do that. So always do a little test fit first. I was just really confident in my aluminum when I did that the first time because I knew that it wouldn't break. So once you've got this on there, do the same thing we did before, is find your alignment by putting just the tip of it in there, because otherwise if you get it misaligned, there's too much pressure and it won't actually slide on nicely, because if the ridges are in the crests instead of the valleys, it'll squish in too far. And then once it's on there, just give it a good solid push. The only thing I don't like about this method is that sometimes it's hard to get it all the way down into the disc. So you may need to use the edge of something rigid and finish it off by kind of using the table as leverage to give you that final push. Last thing I did mention, what you could do if you have a really tight bushing. So if your staff is say 22.2, not all two carbon fiber staffs are made the same depending on which factory they come from. You can always take the bushing and simply slice a small cut into it in the gap between the ridges. You want to keep the ridges preserved. You don't want to cut along the ridge, just cut in the middle, and just cut a small slice out of it. And I will send 2 pairs of bushings if you pick 22, because I know that cutting a 3D print like this might give you the heebie-jeebies. It doesn't for me because I know what's going on here, but I'll send you an extra set in case Arts and Crafts fails you the first try. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why we do extras. And then once this is cut like this, it has essentially a relief in it, so that you can easily put it inside the disc and then easily slide it over top of the 22. We don't have a 22 mil here right now at the moment. To create that nice snug fit without cracking your carbon fiber. The other thing that can be done as well is if this is too loose around your staff, you can do this exact same trick, wrap the inside of the or the outside of the staff in a thin layer of, say, electrical tape or silicone tape. Open that around, clamp it over, and then put the disc on. And keep in mind you can keep these ridges aligned with the disc. And that should do 99% of your installs. Anyways, cheers.